people pleaser. This is take two of this podcast with Power to the People Pleasers. My name is Amy Ballantyne, and thank you to those of you who let me know that the audio on the first recording didn't happen. So here we are. I wanted to bring this important topic to you. As I've shared in the podcast before, I am a recovering people pleaser. So I am the people pleaser in the relationship. But I also coach individuals who are like me, the people pleaser, the recovering people pleaser, and I coach the individual in the relationship who is not the people pleaser. So I thought this would be a valuable episode for individuals, whether you're someone like me or you're on the other end. So I want you to think, is your partner in life the person who's always saying yes? Yes, I will do it. Yes, I will take care of it. Yes, I've got this. Or are you that person? Constantly putting your hand up saying, yes, yes, I will do this or that. There's a little bit of a joke with myself and my my husband because when I go and attend different meetings or events, he'll say, "So, what did you sign up for today?" Meaning, what did you say yes to? Which is a little bit of a joke, but I'm working on that. Right? I'm a recovering people pleaser. I'm aiming to say yes only to the things that are aligned to me and this moment in my life in a bigger way. So I wanted to share a few aspects that are at play here in this experience in the relationship, this dance of a couple, one person being the people pleaser and the other person not. One of the things that could be at play here is the people pleaser may be someone who likes control, so they say yes so that they can be the one in charge, in control, in the leadership role. That may be the case. And I want you to think through this list that I'm going to share. Is this yourself or the person who's the people pleaser in your relationship? Is it how they show love? In many cases, saying yes is a component of saying less. Yes, saying yes is a component of being a people pleaser because that's how that person believes that they're showing love. They feel that that's how they're showing love. It's an interesting note that if you're the receiver of that, so you're not the people pleaser, that's probably how your people pleaser likes to be shown love. Just something to consider. Perhaps it's a bad habit. There's someone maybe like me who said yes for so many years for so many things that it's simply become a habit, that the easiest response is yes, when ideally there's some thought and some consideration, saying, I need a moment to think about this. Um, Perhaps they like to feel needed. That might be the underlying aspect at play for the person who's the people pleaser. Perhaps they are someone who, if they say no, believe that they're giving up this sense of helpfulness. These are some things to consider. If you're not the people pleaser, is this how your partner is showing up? If you are the people pleaser, are these things showing up for you? Another thing that I wanted to highlight here is if you are the partner uh, who is the people pleaser, so you're someone like me, and you are creating potentially a few challenges for yourself in this relationship experience. Challenges like adding additional overwhelm and stress to your life by continuing to say yes and yes and yes. And if you're not the people pleaser, noticing that perhaps by asking the people pleaser in your life to do certain things without even considering how it's going to affect their day, it's maybe causing them to stay in that state. Now, we only control ourselves. But if you know your partner is someone who always says yes, perhaps trying to say, I tried to do this myself and I wasn't able to. Will you help me? Or should we delegate? Do you want to delegate this thing off instead of adding another thing to your plate? I had a funny moment. My husband, those of the listeners who know our family, my husband is very involved in baseball, coaching our two kids teams. And he came up to me the one day. I was pretty busy with a number of things, and he came up to me the one day and he said, I told everyone that you were going to book these hotels for this particular tournament with one of the teams. And I said, "That's interesting because you didn't ask me if I had time and space to do that." So there's an opportunity for both people in the relationship, whether you're the people pleaser or the non-people pleaser, to recognize it's my opportunity to communicate that unfortunately I can or I can't help with this, but it's the other person's opportunity also to ask ask, is this possible? Do you want to delegate this? How can I help? Let's work on this together. There's ways for us to work on reducing the additional overwhelm that the people pleaser might be putting on themselves by simply just saying yes to everything. uh, Another challenge that the people pleaser might be creating for themselves within the relationship is, by saying yes, they're perhaps feeling like there is additional pressure being put on them. They may also feel a situation where they're feeling unappreciated because all that the sorry, let me reframe this here. There could be a situation where the non people pleaser feels like the people pleaser doesn't want their help, doesn't want to have their assistance. An interesting dynamic, right? A lack of trust perhaps being created. So, knowing if you're the people pleaser and you just always want to say yes and you always want to do something, your partner may want to take some of the responsibility off your plate. They may want to help with the backyard. They may want to help with different things, but what's happening is the people pleaser is just jumping on and saying yes right away without considering involving another human. And I know that comes back to maybe the sense of control or sense of feeling like this is how they show love. But communication is so critical to unpack these things. So if I'm bringing something up here today in this discussion that is hitting home for you, there's an opportunity for you to go back to your partner and say, I listened to this podcast today, and she was bringing up some things that were maybe hitting home for what's happening in our relationship. And I would like to take more ownership. Even though you're the one that always says yes, I would like to take more ownership, or I would like to be more helpful. I'd like to take some things off your plate. If you're the people pleaser saying, you know, when you assume that I'm going to do something because I always have, I want to share with you now that I'm aiming to be someone who says yes when it really is aligned, and not assuming that I'm going to say yes all the time and that I have availability and space for everything because I once did. Right? We are evolving, constantly changing humans with different things on our plate. So, um, there is another layer uh, for individuals who are people pleasers, who are always saying yes to the things that they may feel unappreciated if that's not being recognized. So, again, a really important place to have that discussion and dialogue. If you're feeling unappreciated, bringing that up, saying, I have been saying yes. And one of the things that I did in my household to help create a better habit for my family was, and this was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I was feeling a bit frustrated that I was making all the meals and nothing was being said. And I make it a point whenever someone cooks for me, when I don't have to cook, I always say thank you because I want them to know how much I appreciate not having to cook. And I was feeling unappreciated. And so if you are a people pleaser, you're the yes person and you're in this state, you get to educate the people around you on how you want to be treated. And so I said to my family and to my children, who were quite honestly 4 or 5 years younger than they are now, so quite little, I said, I would like from now on for at the end of the meal for you to say thank you. And some people would say to me, well, you shouldn't have to say that. You shouldn't, they shouldn't have to be told. They should just know. Well, let's be real. If it's my expectation and it's going to help me feel better appreciated, it's going to help me feel more love, I'm going to help those people help me, right? So people aren't mind readers around us, right? We have to, or we get to, we don't have to, we get the opportunity to teach people these things. And so, yes, it did take a period of time of reminding, please say thank you for your meal before you get up from the table. But now there's this beautiful experience where my kids say they say thank you. Thank you for the meal. And that's something I'm celebrating in myself for teaching them so that hopefully they continue that into the future to show that appreciation to the people in their lives going forward. That was a bit of a tangent from my first recording of this podcast, but here we are. So I wanted to highlight some where there might be more challenges being created in the relationship. So the people pleasing partner may feel stuck. And I've kind of alluded to this already. They may feel stuck that they are always saying yes. And it's hard to step out of that cycle of saying no, especially within the relationship. So again, being honest, being open, sharing your feelings. If you're the people pleaser who's feeling stuck, to say, you know what, I'm feeling a bit stuck. I know I've always said yes to helping for these things, but I am aiming to live more in alignment. I am aiming to say yes to what really matters to me right now and know more often, or delegate, or ask for help and assistance and guidance. I think this is a great role modeling experience for everyone who has people who are, children watching them, that we can all say no, and it's okay, and we can ask for help. Another area of challenge may be that these people pleasing partners, so individual like myself, they don't want to upset or anger or frustrate or let the other person down. I know that this is real in relationships. We don't want to let others down. So we keep putting our hand up to say yes. Part of this is, how often are you letting yourself down? How often are you letting your own things fall just in the off chance that you may frustrate or upset someone? So, sharing those feelings, I don't want to frustrate or upset you, but this isn't possible right now. Or not even saying that and recognizing that uh, many people will figure it out. If you say no something, someone else will step up. The non-people pleaser may feel frustrated that they want to take on some more tasks and be more helpful and share the weight or the burden more, but the people pleaser always says yes, that they will do the thing. So I've already alluded to this as a challenge that you may see in your relationship. So inviting you to have this conversation, to talk about, there's a lot on your plate. If you're the non people pleaser, to say there's a lot on your plate. I would love to be a solution. What is something that you can delegate to me? And if you want to provide me with an outline of a couple of key steps that you want me to take, it's not about them not trusting you. It's not about, we don't have to create a story around everything, but it may help them to not say yes to the thing themselves if they can give some guidelines and guidance for taking on that task, giving that over to you, right? Let's help our people pleasing people uh, shift away from that so that there's a balance or more even sharing of tasks if that's a challenge that's in your relationship. So, what you can do if you are a people pleaser. So you're the people pleaser, you want to what you can do from here. First step is having awareness that you are constantly saying yes and this is causing friction, this is causing a challenge. Owning that challenge and communicating with this new awareness that you are stepping into a person who wants to no longer be simply a people pleaser, that you want to think critically about the decisions you're making even more, and sharing that with your partner. Brainstorming 1 to 3 things that you could say no to right now. They could be little, they could be big. Brainstorm those together. If you are the non people pleaser in the relationship, the first step is to communicate with clarity and compassion. Clarity and compassion. So get clear on the words that you want to say. Share with compassion that the person that you love may be causing you frustration because all they do is say yes and it's bothering you or bugging you, right? So get clear on what it is and then say with compassion, I want to help. I want to take some things off your plate. I love you very much. I appreciate you for all the things that you do. I appreciate that you've said yes to helping me with this and helping with me with that. Today, I would like to be helpful for you and take some of these things off of your plate and maybe have a different experience. Aim to not bring up the past, as this can be it can be a charging moment, right? It can really charge the situation up. So aim to not bring up the past. It cannot be changed. It cannot be changed. So focusing on what can we do going forward to reduce your stress, people pleaser? What can we do going forward to help uh, reduce this challenge that we're feeling? And then aiming to celebrate this new awareness. So if your people pleaser is saying, you know what, I now realize that I've constantly said yes all of the time, and I'm really trying to be better at this. Celebrating them, celebrating with them that new awareness that they're having, and brainstorming together the areas where the people pleaser could say no and the other person could take the challenge on. I thank you so much for those of you again who have watched the beginning of this episode when there was no audio and now you've tuned in. Uh, Once again, my apologies for that challenge. I invite you to follow me on Instagram. Follow me on LinkedIn. I'd love to stay connected. Check out my website, amyballantyne.com. And thank you for always tuning in to Power to the People Pleasers. Please stay tuned for the next episode coming soon. Bye.